story that was made into about a 20-hour marathon-length motion picture. Anne of Green Gables and Anne of Avonlea. Anne Shirley, another effervescent, irrepressible, dramatic redhead. And they're very much alike in my mind. In fact, when that set of tapes is not my home, I usually call the Dinah's home to find out if they're there again. I say that because drama has been a big part of the Dinah's life. I've seen her in a few plays, and it's amazing. She's dramatic. The thing I wonder is if she's really acting, or if this is just real life. If you've seen the play, it's a Dinah and her girlfriend, and they're away seeing these two young goats, and they're just jumping out of their skin to decide themselves, voice squeaking, and it's incredible. And I think, though, that that's exactly how it will be for a Dinah, that this isn't acting when God brings that young man into her life. Well, so much for dramatic. I don't know if art imitates life or life imitates art, but in a Dinah, these gifts of drama, the energy for life, is something that impresses me about her. And I know that all of that excitement and energy for living comes out of a deeply rooted faith in Jesus Christ. So I'm glad to introduce her to this song.
All the rest of you for coming. I feel kind of overwhelmed as I look out here. I've done nothing to deserve so many wonderful friends. For my family and me, this graduation is not so much a celebration of any academic achievement. It's more a celebration of my family's survival of 17 and a half years of raising me. I have a lot of memories, hundreds of memories of being taught by my parents and growing up with my family. And a lot of them I won't tell because Mom and Dad would probably kill me. But there was one thing my dad has taught me a lot of practical things. I remember laying pipe one day, late into the night, 11:30 at night when we were out. Dad had taught me to fit the pipes together and help him do it. And so here I was up there, 10, 11 years old. And I always remember my dad as someone who taught me practical things like that. Besides algebra and some things with science and stuff like that I struggled with. My mom, it seems like, has taught me a lot of practical things also, besides all the basics in school and academics, the 3 R's. I remember one time I was cleaning up the house, and there were shoes all around the front door. And I was cleaning them up, and I said, Mom, look at this. These are all the guys' shoes in our house. Us girls, we keep our shoes neatly under our beds in our bedrooms. Why is it that the guys always have to keep their shoes out here at the front door and you pick them up for them? And we straighten them for them. And I'll never forget what she told me. And it's quite a word of wisdom. She said, Dinah, we need men in our lives. And this is a small price today. Cleaning up the shoes after them. And I always remember my mom doing things like that. Well, other things too, but words of wisdom. There were a lot of rough times too. In our house, there were a lot. Chaotic times you want to pick up the phone and say, hello, over in Zoo, or we're running a 3-ring circus here. But it seems like those are the times we learned the most, and we moved on from those times. I want you to remember all of that I love you very much. And these memories, when piping the field, picking up shoes after that, these will always keep us close. They will always hold us together. And even if I forget the algebra you taught me, or how to cut is the north or south pole, I'll never ever be able to forget the lessons you taught me about life and my example about true love. And now, as I move into the next season of my life, I feel very, very privileged that God has called me to a career in teaching. I think, wow, Lord, to be able to give back to others some of what my parents gave me is quite a privilege. As I look ahead, I realize that the people that have given to me in the past played a ignored all these years, and for the most part, being a great bunch of kids to grow up with. Neil and Jenny Luke, Faith Church, thank you for teaching me about God's grace and for showing me what a wonderful thing it is to be part of the family of God. To my youth group, thank you for continually challenging me to walk in obedience and dependence on God. Thank you, Cassie, Jason, Amy Murphy, Eric, Celestine, and Misty, for your admonition, prayers, and accountability. And thank you, Mom and Dad, for being two of the best friends I could ever have, and for devoting your life to mine. Above all, I must thank my best friend, my Heavenly Father, who has led all of you into my life in the first place. He is by my strength, even at 11:30 at night when I scramble to finish a school project, and he has never given up on loving me. He's always there to catch me when I fall, and no matter how messed up I get, his grace is always enough to forgive and to heal. So, as the sun sets on this season of my life, I pick up the lessons, hold the memories, and carry them with me. And I thank you all for being here to share with you the beauty of this simultaneous sunset and sunrise as one season of my life closes and another exciting new season is born. Thank you.
Please introduce Michael Christopher Osterhaus. Chris is a genuine bona fide Navy kid. And that means he wasn't born in one place and grew up. It means he knows suitcases and knows them well. He was born in Jacksonville, Florida, moved to Rantoul, Illinois, whatever the Navy has there. Moved on to Rota, Spain, which probably means that Mike went on an unaccompanied tour somewhere. Moved to Rota, Spain, San Pedro, California, back to Illinois, on to Jackson, Michigan, on to Guam, on to. I know him because we get together on the beach every Sunday and have church services down at Gap Gap. I also know him because one day during communion, the XO of the Coast Guard Cutter Passwood came up and as I was giving her communion on the beach, she said, "We're leaving tonight at 6 o'clock and we're going to Saipan." And we had a food drive going on. We decided that we could load up basswood and send food up to those folks who caught the 3 typhoons that missed us. Remember, they came right at the island, diverted at the last minute, and nailed those folks there. And since Christianity says treat everybody as though it's you, well, they could have been us. Chris mobilized the scouts. He collected tons and tons of food. And if you listen to K57, on one newscast it was 5 tons of food, on the next newscast it was 9 tons of food, and on the third newscast I heard it was 11 tons of food, so it was just multiplying hand over fist. But he did it. And he mobilized the scouts to raise food, to gather the food together so that people who could well have been us could eat. He's been in Scouts a long time. He earned the Order of the Arrow when he was in San Pedro. For those of you that are not Scouts, trust me, to be in the Order of the Arrow is a select group of people. And it's something that you wear with a great deal of pride. He learned to rescue dive. I know him in a lot of ways, but I'll tell you, last Tuesday night we sat down over on USS Holland and had a board so that he could qualify to be an Eagle Scout. And one of the other members of the board said, "What's the greatest of the Scout laws?" And he stopped for a moment and he said, "I guess it'd be reverence. Because if you reverence God, everything else just kind of flows out of that first principle." Then he said, "Okay, but if you couldn't be reverent, what would be the next greatest Scout law?" And he said, "I guess it would be to be trustworthy. Because if you were trustworthy and had honor, everything flows out of that." And the first principles that he uses as he qualifies to be an Eagle Scout on Tuesday and then graduates from high school on a Saturday gives you an idea of the kind of person I'm introduced to you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, Tuesday night, he became an Eagle Scout. Saturday night, he becomes a high school graduate. It gives me a great deal of pleasure to also know that tomorrow morning we'll be celebrating the gospel in services. Would you please welcome, please, Michael Christopher Osterhaus.
Before I start this speech, I'd just like to say we have been amazing. I've been in public school. When we arrived on Guam, we decided to be in my best interest to go homeschooling. And I'm so glad we did. Not only just because of the amount I learned, but also because of the people I met. I'd like to say right now that I'm very, very proud to graduate this class. Adina, Missy, and Cassie are wonderful people, and I'm very happy to graduate. I'm very thankful. Getting back to the speech, graduation, it didn't occur to me until middle of this year that I was actually going to graduate. Came as kind of a shock all of a sudden. I wasn't going back to school next year. And at first it scared me. I realized the world can be a tough place, and suddenly my world was going to change. Then I started to really think about what this graduation was. And after I thought about it a while, I realized it wasn't quite as frightening anymore. So I'd just like to share with you what I think of this graduation. This graduation, it's a party, a celebration. It's marking a certain point in all of our lives, a certain growth, maturity level. I think it's marking the point where we're finally ready. We've learned all we need to know to go on and start a life of our own. For the past 12 years, we've been learning constantly all the skills and abilities, everything we'll need for the future. Academics, math exams, science projects, history books. It's given us the ability to find a career, which will help financially, and also give us a chance to contribute to society. During these 12 years, we've also been learning from our parents our morals, our values, putting right and wrong. All these things we've been learning have all made us better people, and have all worked to prepare us for the future. But if this was all we had, I think we would all be in this future. Fortunately, though, I think we studied one more yet, and that would be God. We've come to know Jesus, I think, and therefore we know He has purpose in all of our lives, and He will always be there guiding us. So I think the celebration here is just saying we're ready. We've got God with us. We've grown a lot. We've learned a lot, and we're ready for the next step. And I'm going to graduate, and I am ready for the next step. And of course, I realize the reason why I'm here is, of course, my parents. You brought me to this world. You taught me how to walk. You got me started in Scotland. Dragged me through school. You brought me to Christ. And because of all the things you've done, the way you raised me, I can say that I'm